All right, this is my friend Loran. Now, Loran, he took in, and to his credit, he invited me up here too, but I knew he had his hands full. He took in Savar, his 6 ducks, 3 cats, 2 dogs, his wife and kid, and then as soon as we could rescue him, Spud, all at this beautiful house. He lost his job as well. He worked with Spud at Fleetwood's. This is him, and this is an interview with Loran, this wonderful person whose his family has taken in our friends, and it's a wonderful thing. We just had our fantasy football draft. It was a sense of normalcy.
Yes.
It was pretty cool.
It's really nice to do something that we did all the time.
I tell you what. So
Yeah.
tell me how it went down for you. Did your power go out Tuesday morning up here? And you had a fire up here too, right?
Yeah, there was fires within less than a mile of this house on 3 sides. Luckily, we survived, but there was the Pulehu fires down below. They burned all the way up to the road down below, less than a quarter mile away. We had fires up in Upper Olinda and up in there that burned all the way down. The night of the fires, it was a surreal experience. They said that supposedly this neighborhood wasn't evacuated, but we had no real say of what's going on here. We had the only thing that I really heard from anything was what was going on the radio. That was the only real, reliable source of information.
Do you have power?
No, we had a battery operated just radio, old fashioned. Thank God we had, and then that, I remember luckily my wife was away on the mainland at that time. I chose to stay here in the house. I remember I had fire watch on 3 sides where I could go and I was stayed up all night watching. There were neighborhoods just up the road, less than a half mile away, that were burning up. You could see everything going on. You could hear the propane tanks whistling, boom, and they explode. See the big fireball. You could see the firemen, their silhouettes as they were watching, as they were clearing the luckily at the end, I had all my stuff kind of set up. I felt I should kind of stay within my home till the very end for whatever reason, and so I waited it out, and at the end the house was still standing, and
At what point did you learn about or know about Lahaina being on fire?
I mean, I heard about Lahaina being on fire, of course, on Tuesday. You heard about certain things. The first thing I heard about was the Front Street apartments.
Oh boy.
That was okay, the Front Streets apartments are on fire. There's certain other things, at that time, I worked in Lahaina at Fleetwood's on Front Street. I was supposed to work that afternoon. Usually I would start work that day at 4 o'clock. I would have to leave my house at just a little before 3 o'clock. Up until 2 o'clock, I was thinking I had to work.
Yeah.
That day, that they had lost power over there. No one had called me to let me know, hey, you're not supposed to come. I'd heard there were some things on fire. I'd seen something. Here, it was crazy over here. There was howling wind. Until after dark, you start to see how really what's really happening. But until then, it's okay. It's the power was out all day. It was a very crazy situation.
No one really knew because
it was out. Okay, power was on and off. Going, and then up until and finally I got some messages. Of course their communications were all screwed in Lahaina. So finally I got information I wasn't supposed to go to Lahaina because at around 2:30 I was going to start to head that way.
Wow.
Even though I worked on the rooftop at Fleetwood's. I knew we weren't going to be serving, but supposedly I have to be there, so I have to be there.
Right.
And so then that night, everything started going crazy. You start to realize how unprepared you are. It's I was, my wife was on the mainland, or her son, our stepson Joe, was here. So we were, holding stuff down, and stuff like that, and then
When did you find out about Savar?
Well, at first I got a call. I got a message, a call from Savar. Actually, from Savar called my parents. I guess because they both had landlines.
Yeah.
And told them to tell me to text Spud, who we've all talked about. Like to tell Spud to go to Savar's house.
Yeah, which is on the other side of the
and
smoke.
that was at around 4:00 in the afternoon. I believe 4:08 in the afternoon.
On the other side of the fire.
So
and
at that
smoke.
point, so like.
There's no way he was getting
Yeah. So I texted that to Spud. I guess Spud responded to me immediately that, hey, my house is gone. But it took 3 days for that text to get back to me.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, so we texted Spud.
How soon did you guys decide to take people in?
As soon as I heard that they were displaced.
Yeah.
Yeah, as soon, so I got the one call that actually went through my parents to text Spud around 4:00, and so I passed that on, and I assumed it got there.
Yeah.
But obviously I don't know when it got there. He texted it back, and then I started to do some stuff to get prepared for what was going on. And went out, got little errand to get some stuff ready, and came back, and then, or I guess it was all night. The fires were going, were going on. It was like I stayed up till.
Did you see a glow from here?
Oh, it was straight up all around the house. There were the Palais. Well, I'm pointing when I'm looking at this camera, but the Palais, which the fires, which were all down the fire, they were all the way up to the road. They were less than a mile from the house. There were fires up the hill from us on this side that were less than a half mile from the house. They were all. Luckily this area we're in, I guess, kind of creates a little wind vortex that somehow the fires went around us and didn't actually just roll down the hill like they did anywhere else. So somehow this neighborhood survived.
Thank God.
Yeah,
Thank God.
and so
And at what point were you able to communicate with Savar?
he called me. I know early the next morning. I think he contacted me because he went to a friend's house in Wailuku and contacted me later that night around 11 or 12 o'clock at night, pretty late. I don't remember the exact time. He contacted me, and at this point, he was the one who told me that his house had been lost. This is he was the first person who really let me know mental health break.
The extent to which the fire had ravaged.
Yeah, the real extent to what happened in Lahaina.
Yeah.
At this point, I had been guessing, but Lahaina had always, stood strong, somehow, for, over 100 years, always, stuff always somehow survived.
Right.
And it's that was the one point, where, it was just such a realization, to me and everyone else, of course, foremost to my friends who lost, to everything, they lost, everything, their homes, their livelihoods, all their possessions. I got off really lucky. I got off super lucky. My home survived.
Sorry, but I want to correct that. He didn't get off so lucky because he's housing our asses up here right now. He's got to put up with this shit right now. So
I won't say that there, some days are better than others, but both Savar and Spud and his whole family have always been people who were there for me. So I don't care about that. I can take whatever hardship that brings to me, that's minor. I'm happy to really feel that I'm doing something to help the Maui community in the smallest way.
You're doing a lot.
And it's some, I felt, something that, I'm doing some, something I'm all, I'm.
Big deal. And you lost your job, that burned down, and you had your $20,000 hydrofoil.
Yeah, my
in
e-foil.
the shop. Your e-foil's in the shop.
Don't worry about that.
I mean, but still,
it's just
it's
a
an
thing.
interesting little casualty.
I mean,
It
I
just
wish I had
wasn't
it
in the
back
shop.
because just for mental health sake, right now,
Yeah, be cool to go out
You
there
know,
on that
but,
thing, yeah.
But I mean,
Yeah, I think it's great that you've taken in these guys and their pets, and it's beautiful. It's unconditional friendship. It's the kind of thing that makes the world a better place. No doubt about it.
it's like, hey, and every day gets better. Every day we get a little better.
Everything works itself out. Everyone's moving forward as fast as they can.
We hope so. Like,
If anybody knows
We're
what
set
place
this
to
up
rent
there.
right now,
supposed to put
let
this
me
up.
know.
We'll put this in the comments as well.
GoFundMe. Help
Yeah.
me to continue helping others. That's Lauren's, and he's putting his heart and soul into taking care of other people.
And you can help them the most and the apartment owner the most if you can help find a place to rent.
Let's say,
Cats and dogs, that's
I don't know
why it's
who's
so
listening
hard,
right now,
man.
but I've heard, from all the, I'm living with things on all sides, hearing all the experiences that all these people are having dealing with FEMA and, all this bull crap going down. And, I expect all that because it's government bureaucracy. It does, while, I'm disappointed, it doesn't surprise me. But in Maui right now, for everyone's in need, and you can see anyone who's renting anything is intentionally jacking the price. I understand we're a capitalist society, but this is Maui. We're a community here. We're,
Alexander's her name. Come on.
without the people to make this island work,
Oh my god.
They
like,
message you back right off.
Oh no, yeah, I'm not back with that.
Maui is a
Alexandra.
community.
No, the other one, the Kanapali.
Oh no.
it's
I don't think we've got anything back from that one.
and
People are jacking
yeah,
rents.
you can see. You're going to leave nothing else but for people who don't give a shit about the community, because those are the only people who are going to be able to afford to live here. So this is a message out to people who have places to rent right now. I understand there's all sorts of situations, but you need to look into yourself and
$5,000 a month.
put yourself-
Nowhere to fucking rent or dang on rent.
put your community before yourselves.
Seriously, thank you, Lauren.
And that's all I have to
PSA
say.
out there.
Can we cut?
Yep. All right. Thanks, you guys. Aloha. Thanks for watching All Good Things and All Good Time. Tip 20%. And if you feel like doing harm or crime, do less. Just stay on the couch. Don't do nothing. Woo.